Tails and Scales, The Empty Throne, Chapter 16, Bandits or Rebels. Desperate to convince the royal guard to open the gates, Silvas leads Eco and Fee east of the lower area of the Great Swamp alongside the border to rescue some merchants from bandits near Shirasic. He does not take notice that the sun is starting to set, being focused at the task at Claw. Silvas continues to ride east, and still no sight of the bandits. Instead, he sees various forms of insect life that fly away from either tall grass or bushes. While he continues to ride, he thinks about the guard telling him of the bandits being not the typical types. It makes him wonder if the bandits might be rebels like the ones from Tricia. "Yo, Silvas, how far do you think we are from the bandits?" he hears Eco ask from behind. Silvas stops in his tracks, turning his head to him. "I wish I knew, but we can't just give up yet," and Silvas answers, loudly, giving his Snaguana a few pats on the neck. As much as he wants to stop and rest, he feels the pressure that he has to hurry before the war gets worse. He checks on Eco, who has a face of uneasiness, making him concerned, and asks him if he is okay. Eco looks side to side and gallops up to tell him, "Dude, we have been riding for like an hour or two. What if the guard lied to us? What if there are no bandits? Why would they lie to us? What do you think? Maybe just to get rid of us? Don't get me wrong. I understand you want to open the gates. But dude, you really need to think through when making deals," Eco explains to him. "They can't be lying to us," Silvas thinks in denial. It does not make sense for any raptor to use the bandit attacks as an excuse. As much as he wants to disagree, Eco might be right. So far, they have not seen any bandits yet, making him lose hope until he hears Fee speak up. Hey guys, look!" Silvas and Eco turn their gazes to Fee, who is pointing to their left. Both heads turn to see thick smoke fuming through the trees. The sight of the smoke heightens Silvas' spirits. When there is smoke, it means a campsite is nearby. "Good eye, Fee." He dismounts his Snaguana to tie it to a nearby tree. Eco and Fee also dismount and repeat the same action Silvas did with his. Hiding behind the tall grass from a safe distance, Silvas sees a camp with at least 5 tents set up in the middle of the clearing. Scanning around, he spots the cages where the merchants are being held up, confirming they are the bandits the guard mentioned. He sees the bandits themselves, numbering at least 20. With further suspicion, the bandits look like the same rebels he faced in Tricia. Same armor and same banners with the familiar symbol. "Yo, Silvas, what's wrong? Scared?" Silvas turns his head to see both Eco and Fee looking at him concerned. In response, Silvas reaches a claw into a pocket of his robe to take out a familiar dagger he collected from Cree.
"Is that the dagger my sister used to kill my father?"
Fee asks with a gasp, looking at the dagger Silvas took out. "Yes, Fee, I requested your brother that I take it with me for study." Silvas raises the dagger to compare the symbols on both the dagger and the banners of the camp. His suspicion is proven true. The symbols match. "What exactly are you looking at, Silvas?" he hears Eco ask him. "Before Targan attacked us, there was this guy in robes wearing this symbol." Silvas shows the symbol on the dagger to Eco. "Back at Tricia, I saw the same symbol used by the bandits that Tritus and I took care of. The riders that chased us to Shima, this dagger used by Kree to kill the king, and now I see it again right there." Silvas points to the camp, specifically the banners, and gives the dagger to Eco to get a closer look at it. Fee too leans forward to see the symbol herself. While they study the dagger, Silvas turns his attention back to the camp. In his sight, Silva sees at least 4 raptors keeping guard, while the rest are just either eating grub or sparring with each other. They look more like organized rebels than mere bandits, just like the ones at Tricia. He gazes at the cages to his left, where the merchants are being held. They seem to number around at least 10. By the spirits, they are scared. Obviously, they fear for their lives, due to being captured by criminal savages. Among the hostages, one familiar female gets his attention. He narrows his eyes to the female wearing a leather cloak for a closer look. "What do you think it means?" he hears Iko call out. Breaking off his gaze, he turns around to see Iko giving the dagger back to him. Silvas takes the dagger, makes one more gaze at the banners of the camp, and tells them, "I think there is a group of raptors out there behind all this. The death of the Alpha King, the riots, the bandit attacks, and now this world war might be some part of a conspiracy." "A conspiracy? As in a shady group with an agenda?" Silvas nods yes in response to Iko's question. "If what you're saying is true, why would this group, cult, or whatever even pull a stunt like this? What do they hope to gain?" "I don't know, Iko, but I think I know who might have some answers." Silvas turns his head around, looking at the largest tent. "The leader of the bandits might be part of this group connected to the symbols."
"So, what do we do now?"
Fee asks. "We do what we came here for." Silvas carefully stands up on his feet, posing like a hero with a grin on his snout. "We be like Ultimar Magnus and rescue those in need."
Who's Ultimar Magnus? Why do you have to act like such a dork?
Fee teases, making Silvas drop down, looking embarrassed. "Princess, this guy here was so glued to his book, he will act like a total fanboy," Iko whispers to Fee, earning a glare from Silvas. The latter shakes his head to refocus at the task at Claw. "Jokes aside, I think I have a plan. Who knows how to lockpick?" Fee raises her claw.
"I can use one of my bolts to pick locks."
Silvas gives Fee an inquisitive stare, looking awkward at the idea of a princess picking locks. She makes a nervous giggle in return and scratches behind her head.
"There was a time I actually locked myself in my own bedroom."
She shrugs. "Alright then. The plan is I am going to face the bandits head on, to distract him, so Fee can sneak in and free the merchants, while Iko climbs up onto the tents to give me covering fire." Silvas looks back at Fee. "As soon as the merchants are safe, join Iko by using that crossbow to take out any bandit who will try to attack me. Got it?" Hey, I have a question." Iko adds it up. "Are you really that crazy to deal with 20 bandits head on? Even with our help, it's still suicide." Silvas puts on a smirk on his snout. He raises his claw to form a small surge of electricity to whisper, "Mistcraft." As the sun gets closer to setting, Silvas marches out the safety of the trees to the marsh fields. As he gets closer to the camp, he feels his heart beat faster in his chest. It is his moment to be as brave as the heroes from the stories. In front of him, 4 bandits are guarding the front camp. Spotting Silvas, the 4 bandits begin to walk up to him with blank faces instead of stereotypical evil looks from the average bandit. They all stop 6 feet away from him, keeping their eyes focused on him. Silva stands his ground, trying to be brave with his back straight. He slightly turns his eyes to his right to see Iko sneaking up to one of the tents to climb up. To his left, he sees Fee hiding inside a pile of tall grass near the cages awaiting her signal. "What are you doing here?" one of the 4 bandits demands with a common accent, surprising Silvas. It kind of shows that they might not really be bandits. I'm here by request of the Royal Army to tell you all to release the merchants you kidnapped. Silvas points to the cages. Kidnapped? One of the bandits raises a brow. All four give each other confused looks and share a laugh. Silvas does not know what is so funny that made them laugh. He puts on a mad expression, staring at the four, clutching their armored guts with their claws. What's so funny? Kid, we are not bandits. We are revolutionaries with a cause. Revolutionaries? Seriously? Silvas raises a brow, looking skeptical. You heard us, hatchling. The Mistatorian were the ones who killed the Alpha King. Those old miscasting farts are attempting a power grab. How do you know that? And what makes this revolution of yours any better by kidnapping innocent raptors? Silvas gets a bit aggressive toward the four fools who easily bought into the lie so that they would harm the innocent. However, he wonders if he can try to convince them that they are wrong. Our families were attacked by bandits and fierce creatures, and they did nothing. Our actions might be extreme, but we need to deliver a message to those power-hungry jerks. One of the rebels rants. If you think harassing innocent raptors helps your cause, then you all are being a bunch of fools. Think of your families. You all really believe they would support this needless violence? Silvas pleads to the misguided raptors in front. In truth, he does not really want to fight them. He never likes the idea of fighting possible innocents due to misguided sense of justice. The way he sees it, the bandits or rebels are not buying it. Looks like they would rather die for what they believe in. All four draw their swords, getting impatient, making Silvas put a claw to his sword. Get him! One of the rebels recklessly declares. The rebel raises his sword and rushes to Silvas, only for his attack to get parried. In response, Silvas quickly stabs him in the chest and kicks him on the ground. Two other raptors try to gang up on him, 2 on 1. Silvas quickly uses his 2 claws to use the surge spell to create a stream of lightning to electrocute the 2 rebels at the same time. The final rebel takes out a horn and blows it to alert the others. Throwing off the horn, the rebel raises his sword to attack him, only to be zapped at the head by Silvas' favorite lightning bolt attack, sending him flying across the field. Dealing with the rebel, Silvas sees the remainder of 16 rebels rush up, surrounding him in a circle with weapons drawn. He slowly turns around, keeping an open eye to wait for one of the rebels to make their move as part of the defensive stance from his training. One rebel rushes and Silvas parries 3 strikes and counters with a slice to the chest after staggering him. 2 rebels rush with spears. Silvas uses the lightning bolt at one rebel and dodges the other and stabs him in the back. He uses his foot to kick off the rebel off his sword, landing his face on the wet ground, making a splashing sound. 3 more rebels rush in with all swords. This time, Silvas uses the surge spell to electrocute them. While Silvas repeats the fighting routine, a rebel from behind tries to attack, but he gets met with an arrow to the head by the left. Another rebel who sees his comrade get hit frantically looks around to see where the arrow came from, only to get shot by Eco, who is giving Silvas covering fire on a tent near the battle. On the other tent, Fee joins in and uses her crossbow to strike down the rebels who would dare attack Silvas. With all the rebels dealt with, Silvas falls to his knees to catch some breaths. The fighting and the overuse of miscraft put him into an exhausted state. Taking a few breaths, he looks up to see Fee and Eco run up to him to make sure he is okay. The mist turns visible and flows into Silvas' body in order for him to recharge while catching his breath. Feeling the energy coming back, He slowly gets back up to his feet, taking a glance at Eco and Fee. I feel so alive right now, Silvas shouts in excitement, earning small laughter from his friends. Silvas is going to ask about the merchants, but a gruff voice cuts him off. All three turn to the source of the voice to see a large raptor coming forth. The large raptor's scale color is gray as smoke, with tiger stripes. His eyes are blood red, with a scar to his right. He wears black plated chest armor and gauntlets. On the left side of his chest is the same symbol that Silva studied. He is the boss of the camp. He looks around to see his troops either dead or out cold. The more he looks, the angrier he gets, until he spots Silva still recharging the mist inside of him. Eco and Fee run up in front of Silva with arrow and bolt drawn to protect him in his current state. You little brats did this, the boss demands with an aggressive tone in his voice. You must be the one who deceived these raptors to throw their lies, Silvas accuses with a cough, still exhausted. Yet he can feel the mist in himself almost charged. The boss takes one step forward, making Eco point his arrow with a hiss, warning him not to come closer. The old rebel only makes a small laugh and uses a mist power to levitate Eco by the throat and throw him into a nearby tent. Eco! Both Silvas and Fee shriek in horror. Fee runs into the tent to make sure Eco is okay. Silvas, however, turns his attention back at the leader snarling at him. You know who I am, do you? Silvas accuses, pointing a claw at the rebel leader, who turns out to be a mist caster like him. How do you know? The boss asks with a mocking tone, while his eyes make a flash, indicating that the mist in him is recharged. That symbol you are wearing, Silvas points at the badge, while his eyes flash, fully recharged. I have been seeing it almost everywhere. Who are you, raptors? Are you all responsible for all this? The rebel boss only smiles and moves one claw up. A shadow aura begins to form into a large disc. How about you catch this? He tells Silvas as he throws the shadow disc right at him. Silvas jumps to the side quickly, making the disc pass by and cuts through the tall grass, only for it to fade. He turns his face to the boss with a face mixed with horror and anger. He sees the boss look at him with a smirk. The young mistcaster knows what he did. He points a talent at him and accuses, That was a shadow disc spell. You're a dark mistcaster. That's right, thanks to the power of dark mist. I can use it to deal with pests like you. The leader taunts and uses another shadow disc. Silvas draws his sword to deflect the spell away into the sky. He keeps his guard up to be aware of any more dark powers the leader might use. Raising a claw, he forms an ice spear and throws it at the rebel leader, only for him to catch it in his palm. The rebel boss takes the ice spear out of his claw, allowing blood to come out, making Silva sick in his stomach at the sight of blood. What is even more disgusting is that the blood from the boss's wound forms into a sword on one claw and forms onto the other. The two blood swords harden when the boss grabs them to make some practicing swing like an assassin. Silva starts to feel himself get scared at the sight of such abnormal power with blood. He is so scared that he can hear his own heartbeat while he watches the boss walk up with the two blood swords in claw. He prepares his sword, back to defensive stance, walking backwards. This is the power of the school of Bloodbend. The power to use your own blood to make any weapon you desire. The boss begins to swing his blades at Silvas. Silvas tries to parry the first strike, but the boss does a feint attack with a second blood sword to deflect the sword off of Silvas. Silvas' claw flying. The boss makes a confident smile and points his swords. Looks like you're out of luck, the boss taunts. Without his sword, Silvas tries to use his mist powers. He shoots 2 lightning bolts, but the boss uses his swords to deflect each one. When he tries using the third spell by unleashing sparks of lightning, the boss is able to block by crossing his arms into an X, forming the gravity shield. By the spirits, this guy's too good, Silvas thinks to himself, already getting tired. He starts to lose hope, dropping to his knees. Poor Silvas tries to catch his breath as quick as possible, while the boss walks up to him with a sinister smile, like a predator who is about to catch his prey. The boss is about to strike Silvas, only to be blocked by mist blades, putting the boss in shock. What the heck? The boss blurs out, while Silvas is seen using the spell that his uncle taught him to save his own life. He slowly gets back up and pushes the boss off and shows off his own dual-wielding skills. That spell. I thought only them pesky Knights of the Mist could wield that, the boss complains. But Silvas looks at him with newfound hope. With his newfound courage, Silvas gets back into the defensive stance, waiting for the boss to make a move. In fury, the boss tries to attack, but this time, Silvas can use the second mist blade to block any feint attack the boss might attempt. The two fight fiercely at a rapid pace, one clash after another. Silvas is able to parry the boss's attacks more effectively. The boss shows no signs of exhaustion, but he is getting annoyed. Silvas does not give up. Silvas does not give up, holding his ground as he keeps on parrying, hoping to expose a weak spot. With no weak spot in sight, Silvas begins to feel the mist inside of him begin to fade. He shows it by the amount of sweat coming out of his forehead, and the mist blades begins to fade. Taking notice, the boss makes a big smile, hoping to take advantage by making one jump attack, only for an arrow out of nowhere pierce right into his eye, where the scar is stopping his attack. Gah! What the hell? The boss screams in pain, letting go of his swords, which turn back into liquid blood. Silvas looks to his right to see that the arrow is shot by Eiko, who is standing in front of the tent, looking high and mighty, with Fee next to him with her crossbow drawn. Silvas, this is your chance! Get him now! Eiko calls out, allowing Silvas to dispel his blades, and uses the blizzard spell to freeze the boss in place. Frozen in place, the boss tries to struggle his way out. Silvas walks up to the struggling boss. He lifts a claw to the boss's eyes to use the persuasion spell, which will force him to tell him the truth. Tell me, who are you, Raptors? Who are you working for? He demands. The boss struggles to fight the spell in his mind. It shows that he is dedicated to whoever he is working for. He is unable to fight anymore, and he is about to tell, only for another arrow to strike him at the back of his head, killing him and freaking out Silvas. Silvas turns to the side to see a shady rider in black robes with a red bow, only for the said rider to retreat back into the veil of trees. He turns his gaze back to the rebel boss pierced by the red arrow to see it reliquefy into blood. Damn it, Silvas mutters to himself. Dude, that was totally awesome, the voice of Eiko calls out. Silvas turns his gaze to see Eiko and Fee running up to him.
Even for a dork, you fought like a total pro.
Fee jumps for joy.
My brother could learn a thing or two about your fighting style.
That spell you used, did my dad teach it to you? Eiko asks him. He did, Silvas answers with a hint of disappointment, turning his head back to the frozen rebel boss. That makes Eiko and Fee look at him with concern. He is still thinking about the rider he saw, the one who just shot the rebel leader before he could say anything. He shakes off his thoughts to another task at Claw. He turns his head back to his cousin and friend, looking okay now, and asks, "Are the merchants okay?" Lucky for him, a group of 10 raptors approaches him from his right, looking very relieved. The raptor leading the group is a young golden male with a white feather mane and orange eyes, wearing a nice cotton coat and hat, looking at him with even more gratitude. "By the spirits, I thank you and your friends for saving us in this dire time of need. What is your named fabled hero?" the golden male asks, like a play director from Creston. "I am Vessel Silvas, first Delta of Magalo, and he is my cousin, Vessel Eco, and she is Princess Fee Jin, kobold from Shima." Silvas introduces himself and his companions. "You're of our Delta. By the spirits, as if they made it prophecy for us to meet at a most dreadful time. The name is Da Vinci Nardo, first Delta of Creston and owner of the great Conclave Company." The golden raptor named Nardo makes the actors bow. "You're the first Delta of Creston? That means—" "Oh yes, I am next in line to be the Beta Lord of Creston, after my uncle Da Vinci Anglos," Nardo answers for Silvas. "So, if you're also the owner of one of the merchant companies, what are you doing out here? I thought all trading companies stopped traveling town to town due to what is going on," Silvas asks Nardo, in concern, at the same time checking out the other merchants who are trying to collect their things stolen from the bandits. "As the owner of Conclave, it is my important duty to see my company achieve its main goal, to spread all the creations of Creston throughout all Avalonia, to admire the art we all put in. We were traveling to Battle-Lot from Creston until my colleagues and I got captured by those brutes who killed our dear Snaguanas, and now we find ourselves in the middle of this dreadful swamp right by Jurassic." Nardo turns around to fall on his knees, raising a cloth to his forehead with a look of sorrow. "Oh, woe is me! How can we head to Battle-Lot now?" "What a drama queen," Silvas hear Eco mutter to himself. Hearing Nardo mention he is going to Battle-Lot, he gets an idea and tells him, "Hey Nardo, we have Snaguanas that Eco and I would love to let you borrow, until you guys get new ones." "Really?" "Oh yes. We too were going to Battle-Lot, but the gates to Saronian Heart were closed. How about we journey together until we head inside the city?" Silvas offers, making Nardo beam. "That would be superb! What are your Snaguanas now?" he asks. Silvas turns to Eco and Fee and tells him to escort the merchants to the Snaguanas. With that, Eco and Fee do as they are told and escort Nardo to the merchants until Silvas notices the female with her hood standing up.
"Silvas, is that really you?"
she asks with a familiar sweet voice. Silvas walks up to her and asks, "Have we met before?" The female puts down her hood to reveal a familiar orca patterned face. She has the sweet smile on her face, making the latter gasp, "Osea!" End of chapter 16. Please feel free to comment, place a like, and please subscribe if you want any more content for the next adventure in Tales and Scales. Bye.